You serious?
Yo, there's plenty of ways to kill some time out there. Right now, you are killing some time with us. My name is Marcus Bronzy.
Oh, sorry. I'm Funk Butcher. Take it a swig.
Oh, man. How you doing, bro?
Oh, call me again. I'm fine.
Radio rule number 1.
Yeah.
Never eat or drink in the studio. We're
Exactly.
like, there's better ways to eat some food out there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Listen to it with us. So, the pants party
It's non-alcoholic though, so.
is non-alcoholic. Pants party, Funk.
Mm-hmm.
There's a party in my pants. And everyone's invited. No, there's a game called Pants Party. Let me just reach for it.
Yeah.
We have been sent. Now, I think 2017 for us has been the year of the card and board game.
Okay.
How to Kill an Hour. I feel like we've really been experimenting in this area of entertainment.
It's coming back.
Because I do you know what? I'm going to be honest. I hate certain games because I'm not very good at them. Just me being honest. Like Monopoly.
Yeah.
I never want to play Monopoly.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
That's why you played the recent game Prey on easy mode.
Exactly. And
And that's why you've been dodging me on Mario Kart also. Oh, shot fired.
Oh, for God's sake. Funk, listen, do you really want this? You want this, yeah? Okay. All right. Just like, it's an ongoing thing, yeah? I've not had enough time to play.
We should run a competition, yeah? Listeners, yeah? How many times has Marcus said, do you want it, yeah? Do you want it? And he hasn't actually played me, yeah? Answers on the back of a snapped addressed envelope, please.
All right. It'll happen soon. Yeah, it'll happen soon.
Yeah.
I've just been a little bit busy.
Soon as
All right,
in...
this week we'll throw it down. Soon
as we enter into Trump's second term, yes.
In the next 5 episodes of How to Kill an Hour, Mario Kart will get played. Right, so we got sent this game called Pants Party, right?
Yep.
It's a card game where I love the premise. It's very simple. So we're just chilling out, right? It's a bit hard to play one-on-one, so there's three of us, really, is what you'd want. And in turns, basically, one player sits in what we call a hot seat, right? You don't have to move into a specific seat that is hot. Your seat just becomes hot when it's your turn. And you pick a card and you read it out loud. So there's loads of phrases that we've got on these cards. So I'm going to pull out a card. Or actually, do you want to pull out a card randomly? Actually, I'll riffle the deck. Say stop.
Stop.
All right, cool. There you go. So you've got a card that says...
Do I read it out?
Yeah, go on.
In my handbag.
All right. So that's your phrase. That's your saying. So basically, each of the other players have take it in turn and have 5 goes in total per round to make you laugh by saying an incomplete sentence. So they've got to say the first bit and you've got to say the rest of it. Okay. So, for example, I say, you've got a massive dildo.
In my handbag.
And so on, yeah. We should record a game. We should record a game of this, yeah.
And if I laugh, I lose.
If you laugh, you lose, and you got to try and get through the round. They all have 5 attempts. You got to get through the round without laughing. Okay. So the way I switched this game up this weekend when I played it was, if you laugh, you have to take a shot, and if you manage to firm it for the whole round, everyone else has to take a shot. Bruv,
I like the way you factored in alcohol into this.
Oh yeah, I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it. So that's it, really. So you've got to. So yeah, I like it, man. Say the incomplete phrase. I mean, there's loads. While having a poo under my bed on my birthday.
In my handbag.
In my handbag.
Poo in my handbag.
Is it? I've got a pile of dog poo
in my handbag.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, it's simple game. Great fucking idea.
Nice.
That's Pants Party. Like everything we talk about in the show, you can look at by going to howtokillanhour.com. I really like it, man. Simple. We've got a few more card games coming up as well, actually, on the show. Anyway, so how to take better iPhone photos. What would you say your iPhone photography level's like, Funk?
With or without filters?
Let's go without filters first.
I don't know. After seeing some people's iPhone 7 pictures, I think, like, I used to think mine was great, but I think I need better.
Just threw the card back at me.
Better equipment.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you got an iPhone, man.
I know, but when you compare the 6 pictures and the 7s,
Yeah, hey, the sevens. The
That's what I mean. I feel like I'm lacking a little bit.
4K-ness.
I thought I had the angles on lock, but
I've got the angles on lock.
The sevens are super sharp, man.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty nifty with an iPhone camera. I think I do all right. But I did study some photography at uni though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did a module. On photography. So there's little tricks you can do, like rule of thirds, where you you know that little grid that you get. Do you ever see that grid on your screen, like when you take pictures? I don't know how to turn it on and off because I've not done it for ages.
I've only seen the grid on a DSLR. I haven't seen it on an iPhone.
I've got it on my iPhone. I'll tell you. I'll share with you now how to do it. So if you go to camera, I think it's in settings. Settings, camera. Let me get into it now. Here we go. Photos and camera. There you go. So if you go to photos and camera, and it says iCloud photo library at the top, scroll down a little bit.
Will I go to settings?
Yeah. So if you go into settings,
yeah,
photos and camera,
mm-hmm.
and it says grid, turn that on. You see it?
Yep.
Photos and yeah. So go into it and then scroll down a bit. Preserves. Underneath preserve settings, it says grid. Yeah. Turn that on, and that grid gives you that rule of thirds. Basically, if you put like a line, like say you're looking at a horizon and there's like a line on the horizon, if you balance it up with one of those lines, you'll take a much better photo.
Okay.
Nice and simple. But yeah, Apple have rolled out with a few videos out there, man, to help let us know about how to take great iPhone photos, to help us take those photos that they use, you know, for billboard campaigns. Yeah. Dave from Broccoli took this photo. But yeah, they're saying step 1, for example, switch your phone onto photo mode if you want to take portraits.
Yeah.
How to shoot without a flash and lighting, how to shoot close up, how to shoot vertical panos, how to shoot action shots on the iPhone. They're really taking their time to get us on point with our photos. Why are Apple doing this? Why do they want us to take better photos?
Because they want us to utilize the only feature that they change every year in their handset. Which it really is. I think it's the strongest aspect of their iPhones, which is their camera.
Really?
What else is it? It's not the design.
Ease of use.
Design hasn't changed in
because it's so perfect. It's like the PlayStation control pad. It's like the PlayStation control pad
with its one port.
It's like an alligator. It's like an alligator. It hardly needs to evolve.
Yeah, deadly.
Yeah. But yeah. So do we need better photographs being taken out there?
Possibly. Me personally, I'd like that information directed more to filming on your phone.
Okay.
And I think that's probably going to come next.
Right.
When you've got it's the same thing, I guess. If you've got a photographer out there, budding photographer that can't get the shekels together to afford a Canon 70D or whatever high end camera, then showing them how to get that quality image from an iPhone is great.
Yeah.
I guess it's no different from when we was talking about the producers who are able to kind of get out quality sounds from their iPhone with the certain apps and all the native instrument kind of apps. So I guess it's that same thing of just utilizing technology to make it more inclusive.
What kind of photos do you want to see more of?
Titties. No, thinking out aloud again.
Yeah.
More. I really like the landscape pictures and yeah. That's my politicians. My political answer.
Titties. I really want to. It's the landscape. I like to see the curvature. Let's move on anyway, man. We'll put the links over to show you how to take better pictures on your iPhone. My bit of advice is just make sure it's a well lit place. Turn that grid on. Use that grid. Yeah. Rule of thirds is what it's called. If you read up a little bit about rule of thirds, it'll make your pictures look oh so much more amazing. Okay. So Funk, Chicago have created
Michael Jordan.
No, Chicago have created some crime predicting software.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like? When I say crime predicting, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
2 words.
Yeah.
Minority Report.
What happened with that film?
Gosh,
it's Tom Cruise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Tom Cruise. The best part about that film was the whole utilizing, because That was before the iPad, wasn't it?
Oh, way before the iPad.
Yeah, but it had the whole the kind of technology of him swishing his hands left and right, moving apps, or not apps, or information, evidence rather, on this kind of like this massive fictional screen. The closest thing you can get to that depiction is in this country we've got the Sky Sports, and they have an actual massive screen where the pundits move the information left and right, and I guess they kind of nicked that from Minority Report. But it was based on, they had these I don't know if they're kids or young people, and they had telepathic powers.
We never knew. It was actually, we thought from the outside, the civilians of the film just thought it was a machine, didn't they?
Yeah.
But we found out it was actually 3 people, wasn't it?
They called it the precogs.
The precogs, because it was precognitive behavior, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was it, 3 of them.
Yeah.
And it was like they would have 3 like flashbacks, and if there were 2 that had one sort of flashback and one had like one that was arguing against it, or was like had an opposite alternative possibility.
Yeah.
Like, was it? So they all predicted the future, all 3 of them.
Yeah.
But if one of them predicted a slightly different future, the 2 that were the majority would push out the Minority Report.
Yeah.
So, but they found out that she was actually the strongest psychic out of all of 3 of them. So her Minority Report was actually the one that you should follow the most.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then it's a brilliant film.
Tom Cruise's, like, his name comes up, and then he has to get out of there quick. That's sick, man. Yeah. Minority Report. So this doesn't rely on psychic people. This actually relies on technology. So basically, a scientist has helped the police department generate a list of individuals that are likely to perpetrate or be victims of violent crime in the near future. So those
people with sharp teeth, with their eyes too close together.
Yeah.
Claws.
Yeah. People wearing hoodies when it's a bit too warm for a hoodie. Bit suspicious. Oh, man. So, yeah, they've actually created a list, and the people that are at risk are being told, and the people that are at risk of committing a crime are being told as well. Is this freakishly getting into that area where people are getting like deemed as, like, I don't feel like they're getting painted as guilty before they've even done anything. But maybe, I don't know, they're using people that have already committed crimes and they put the numbers into a computer.
I thought you were going to phrase it differently. Is this ridiculous? Yes. Because it is. I think this is just a way to kind of avoid and circumvent what these police officers are hired to do, which is police work, detective work, trying to jump the gun and use some sort of calculation to predict what kind of person will do what. I mean, there's been so many instances where, funny enough, you see cases. I mean, there's like a very, very famous case here where a child went missing many years back, and the jury is still out after all this. I think it's been over like 10 years as to whether or not the parents are responsible for the disappearance of the child. And there's been similar cases in America whereby a child or a person has been missing, and the person has come on TV and kind of poured their heart out and cried in tears, and then that person is later turned out to be the main not only suspect but culprit as well. So it just goes to show you that in those early stages when everyone is believing that person, there is no look to it, because we all like to think that we've got this kind of detective skill set. It's that one, the whole kind of like the Scooby-Doo kind of, or the Columbo effect, where you pick out the person before the
Sherlock Holmes.
But yes, in terms of Sherlock Holmes, it isn't that elementary, and and certain times, if you do get it wrong and you don't just utilize basic and fundamental detective work, you're just going to be putting more innocent people behind prison cells, which America has got a lot of. Oh yeah,
they got the highest amount of people incarcerated in the world, I think.
Yeah,
highest percentage of people.
But I mean, more importantly, there's so many kind of like acquittals and pardons every year in America based on inconclusive evidence and whatnot. So
you're saying you want real police work to be done?
I think it has to be, because you're dealing with real life. So I don't know how you kind of turn around to someone after imprisoning them for 30 years and go, "Oh, sorry about that."
Okay, so I'm gonna break it down again how it works.
Yeah.
So, for example, they've got data, loads of data they're putting in. So it's like data on past crimes and factors on areas like where crimes are committed, who committed crimes.
Yeah.
So they'll analyze that data, look for patterns. Like a certain corner might be a hotspot for muggings.
Yeah.
Or a hotspot for, sexual assault or something. And then they'll increase surveillance in the area. That's how it will work. So the computer will get the algorithm and put that together.
Yeah.
And it will just kind of guide the police there.
Yeah.
And again, it will do like analyze social contacts of people who have been involved in past crimes. So your affiliates. It's kind of like what police do anyway.
Yeah.
This is the other side to it. The people that are at risk, they'll go and inform those people if they crop up.
Okay.
So
and the ones that are going to commit the crimes,
well, if it's possible as well. They're not openly, like, I'm not finding that, but I'm presuming that if you've got the data to tell someone's going to be attacked, you'll have the data to tell the attacker, listen, watch your step.
But what you said is that they use the algorithms in certain areas which have trouble spots, but you and I know that, especially when an area becomes gentrified, the crime levels in that area drop anyway. So that would skew the results. So
you're saying the data has to be up to date all the time?
And that's practically impossible, because the way certain crime areas, the way certain crime in areas kind of, the peaks and troughs of it is so drastic. You could literally turn Chicago's crime rate like upside down and make it into nothing by injecting a whole load of cash and changing the demographic of it.
Okay.
So therefore, all that data would be null and void.
All right, I'm going to try and convince you a little bit then.
Okay.
For argument's sake.
Yeah.
What about the fact that because it's a computer dealing with that, and because this is you, and I know this isn't exactly the same thing, but you said people are less offended with the Amazon, the Amazon Look thing that we spoke about, the Amazon kind of Echo that has a camera in it and says whether or not you should go out.
Yeah, I said that people would be less adverse to a computer making
judgments,
a calculated judgment, rather than an emotional judgment.
So how would you feel about, especially with all the corruption and stuff, and all of the tension between police and people, to know now that you've got a policing system that isn't looking, for example, at you as a person, it's looking at the numbers, like it's taken away a bit of the human emotion that can go wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like as a computer, I could look at you, Funk, get all your details up, and instead of looking at you like a judge, a biased human would, and make a decision about you.
It's very easy. Do you know what my answer to that is? That ultimately, who builds computers? Humans.
The man.
Exactly. So wherever you can always trace back. The thing with humans is that if a human is a child, its parent is a. So if a computer is a child, its parent is a human.
Right.
So in that, what you're finding is that you're never entirely going to be able to kind of get a computer to think independently and come up with its own logic and rationale to a situation, even with the best AI, because what that AI is still based on, its foundation, is information put in part from humans. Right. The classic argument of this is the argument around Google's search engine. Now, certain phrases and whatnot, the images and the articles that Google brings up is as a direct result of what the developers have put in. So people used to say that if you put in certain images of, if you were to say, I don't know, black woman, and the kind of images that would come immediately from that are based, Google would say that's what the wider public is feeding into to kind of generate those images. But ultimately what people are arguing is that the algorithm is skewed in certain areas of that search engine. So therefore, it's the human influence which has disrupted it.
So you're saying that they could program bias in?
Exactly.
I'm thinking we could go a step further. What about, what's the one Will Smith's in? iRobot.
Yeah.
what if somebody hacks the system? Because let's be honest, it's very possible. We've seen it. We've seen the NHS struggling a little bit.
It's all the rage now.
What if you could hack in and then be like, yeah, Funk's criminal.
Exactly.
Funk's a criminal.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I do feel like maybe if they use it as a guidance, it could help to relieve bias. Do you know what I mean? The computer tells you, look, there's been a lot of crime in this area. Go check it out.
You know, the irony of it though is that if you try to remove bias and you get bias back as a result because you're putting information in, you're kind of in an attempt to move away from the flaws that man can implement in these situations.
Yeah,
you're still creating a situation which is representative of the previous system that's out there, because you get corrupt judges, you get corrupt lawyers, you get corrupt police officers. So if you're creating a system to kind of combat that, and then you're programming bias in there, you're still going to get a corrupt system that's judging one people worse than others, and so forth.
All right. Well,
I think it's very difficult to create AI independent in that situation, because
I think a hybrid use, if they used it to guide them, I'd like that. It would help me.
Yeah.
If I knew if I was an officer and I was going to like Manchester,
yeah,
I wouldn't know the lay of the land. So it might tell you like, look, okay, this area is where this happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of data that can be input.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of correlations that we can't see that a computer might see.
I think it's just a case of how you would need to have a general consensus of different lawmakers and different judges from all different backgrounds imparting their information into this system, so that you get a well-rounded judgment.
So you need a judge to judge the system. So at the end of the day, you still need a human there.
Yeah. I guess it's a bit like, for me, even though it's not a robotic system, but it utilizes some sort of artificial intelligence in its narrative, is Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd was supposed to be judge, jury, and executioner based on a set of values which was supposed to be homogenous across all the judges. But some of these judges were a bit biased in the way that they were, like, even Judge Dredd himself, he was biased, the way he would go at some people and the way he would kind of like, some people he would just kind of like execute or whatnot. But it just showed that even on a system which was supposed to be kind of like blanket, and these judges, the Judge Dredd is a graphic novel that was turned into a film, and the character was kind of like, it was a test tube, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was born in a laboratory, but they were created to be the super policeman of their time, kind of thing, exacting law, but without emotion. But it didn't really go that way. They still were imparting emotion and not being logical in the way they were kind of delivering justice.
Yeah. All right then. Well, that brings this episode to a nice ending. I suppose we got to see because I think, you know, manpower is going to be something that's going to be very interesting. You know, when there's less police around, or there's more people that need policing, they might have to rely on stuff like this. But we'll keep an eye on it. It's How to Kill an Hour. I've been Marcus Bronzy.
I've been Funk Butcher.
Any ways to kill some time out there? Thank you for killing some time with us.